So good morning, girls. We will start with some housekeeping as usual in the morning. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Romina is coming. Vanessa, you can't hear me? Oh my gosh.
Now I can, but I hear you so far, far away.
Okay.
Like too
Probably.
much.
Very far. Very far. If I do this, Vanessa, can you hear better?
Same.
The same? Well, oh my gosh, this is new microphone. Probably.
This record is
No. I hear something else. Okay. So I have to speak loudly only. Okay. So as we know, we will start with housekeeping. I remind you that we really have very few weeks until the end of the semester. So time has flown, really. And I have some news for you. Hello, Romina. Hello, Vanessa, Paola, welcome. And there is something, well, we are in week 12. And there is something I have been telling you, but since it is in the syllabus, yes, we need to pay attention to attendance, yes. We are in the last 5 weeks of the semester. And therefore, we will count the attendance required in between 70, 80%. Remember, the syllabus requires 80%. It is written. But since we might have problems with connection, we can be a little bit flexible. However, you need to be mindful. I'm going to send you reports on your attendance in case you are going down. And just that's to call your attention that you have a limit of absences possible in the module. This is not a module we can do asynchronously. Some things, of course, we can do, some tasks we can follow online, the video later, but participation is also important. Your synchronous work is also recognized, as well as all other modules that develop the English language. And this is, of course, true in face-to-face classes as well. Yes, you need to go to campus to attend classes. We know that we have periods that are synchronous and periods that are autonomous. And this continues to be so since we are preparing for an important exam in December. So it is coming. And therefore we need to be prepared to the best of our abilities. Yes, and you know you have made progress. You know how much progress you have made by coming to class. So it is valuable, very valuable. All right. I have here the evaluations. Well, we know we have finished the midterm, the oral. We have those evaluations done. The participation is an ongoing evaluation. You have to keep on participating, uploading tasks, comments. That is something that is along the semester. And we will be starting now the workshop, the written expression workshop, which is something we need to develop. We said you needed some kind of attention towards writing, which we are going to do. And the final test. So those are 2 instances that are coming. Yes, the written workshop is in process. And the final test will take place in the 2nd week of December. Okay. And it is in process, of course. The preparation is in process as well. Yes. Okay, so here I have the schedule, the timeline. We are here. So we will start with the written expression preliminaries, talking about sentences, revising about sentences. a topic we have been discussing a lot. Then the written expression will be due on the 6th of so as you see, we don't have many classes, many weeks pending. So we have only 5 Mondays. These are Mondays, okay. And this Monday, the last Monday, you will have the workshop due. So your written piece, the piece that you will be working towards. And participation, online participation will also be due in this week, yes, in the week 16. On the 13th, you will very probably be asked to do the online placement test. It has been required that you go to do it on campus. You will be explain this, but probably it will be this Monday. We will tell you if there are any changes. And the rest of the week, Wednesday and Friday, will be to finish our final test. We will do speaking probably on Wednesday, and then you will have your time on Educandus to finish the rest. The cumulative test will take place on the week of the 20th for you to bear in mind. So these weeks, there are no classes. Yes, these last 2 weeks, we don't have any classes. Yes, we will just be finishing testing and yes, corrections and everything. So as you see, the year is the semester turns out to be short. So we have these weeks to work actively towards preparing all of this. And therefore requirements of attendance increase a little bit. Okay, so remember, we always have something to do. We will be finishing work in class, written work in class, so you have feedback. Yes, plus the extras that you will have access to links to practice and all those kind of extra, some readings that take more time to do as autonomous work. Okay, so now, well, my recommendation is with writing that you take your time, your patience, a lot of patience. There are many ways in which we can say things, and there will be lots of feedback. Yes, but it's always with the idea of you having your best results. Yes, remember, you are not tested on writing. Yes, the OPT is online, it's mainly reading, grammar, and listening. So the skills are evaluated through those exercises. No, there's no writing and there's no speaking. Okay. Any other questions? So we will be doing each day a little bit. We start with the preliminaries, revising sentences. Remember, I hope you can get to correct your own sentences in your writing from task 8. So last week on Friday, you can find task 8 and start and finish it today. If you finish it today, we are done. We are much better, so that we start with writing. We continue with writing, and you have time to do some other activities. So welcome everyone, and we will have our warm-up activity. So do you have any other questions regarding evaluation schedule? The evaluation schedule. So important things to remember. Again, attendance. There is a percentage of attendance. I always say, for example, if the semester finishes, if the semester finished today, yes, so that's an unreal conditional, yes. If the semester finished today, would I pass the attendance requirement? That's a big question, yes? So please be mindful, yes? Be mindful that this has been put in place to help you organize your time, yes? And your requirements according to the demands of the semester. And this is a demanding semester. Remember, of course, we also talked about the OPT as being not the end of of, of everything. We have already told you, I have already told you to try to do the best. So you have to be at the B level, yeah? B level, yes, is composed of a variety of abilities, yes? The level, B level. And you have B1, B1 plus, B2, yes, it's a scope, yes, it's not a static point. However, if you're at this level, you're okay in the second year, yeah. And you were, because you finished last year and you did a test and you were at the level required. So you don't have to be afraid. You only have to work towards getting your best. Yes, getting your best, so that then your way, your path is easier towards the final goal, that is the C1. Yeah, so this is an important message. So it's not the end of our lives, but the more you work, the nearer you get, the better for you. That is what we are trying to tell you. That of course we all learn at a different pace. Um, some of you have to make a little bit more effort, but that's like that in every situation in life. But keep on working. Yes, keep on working and do your best. Try to do your best. And this is the objective, okay? That you get the nearest, so that then your path is easier. Housekeeping finished. About reading, yes. And remember, we are still in the unit about reading, and therefore we will talk about reading. Yeah, so just a little bit about reading. This is a worksheet that I will share with you. We will discuss some questions online today, but then you will continue. I thought I had done this. And you will continue with more exercises on the second page, then in your own time. Yes, so we will read the questions. Yes, just some questions, at least one question each, and ask classmates. Pay attention to answers and then report on what our classmates tell us about these questions. Yes, then you will be able to complete the worksheet as well, the worksheet. Okay, so I will share the worksheet with you, just to think about via chat, to think about reading. And remember, we are dedicated to a little bit to reading, and the reading takes time, takes attention. What else do you need to read? Strategy, depending on how difficult, how demanding it is, the reading. But in general, reading takes time and dedication, a little bit of dedication, the same as writing. Okay, tell me if you have received the worksheet. If not, I can send you via WhatsApp web. This worksheet, have you received it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Vanessa. You'll have time to read the questions and ask your classmates about reading. Can you read the questions? Okay, I will share with you. Okay, so this is the first page of the worksheet. So which question would you like to ask? Catalina, would you like to ask a question? To
you?
Okay, you start with me, and I continue the round to someone else. Okay.
Miss Paula, do you enjoy reading?
Yes, I love reading. I love reading. I need more time only.
Why?
Why I like reading? Yes, I have liked reading all my life since I was an adolescent. And I would like to have more time to read fiction because I don't read fiction lately. I only read academic work, but I would like to read fiction. Yes, I love reading. My question to Javiera. How many books do you read in a year? Number 3. Or Javiera, can you hear me? Or speak probably? Or anyone? Vanessa? Okay, Javiera is answering. Yes. How many? I don't read any books. Oh, you don't read any books. Okay, but try to read at least one book, something short, because that will also help you discover new things in the world. Yeah, so it's a good exercise. Okay, Javiera, your question, even by chat for Vanessa. Then you have to report. Okay, what classmates are saying. One question for Vanessa. You can write it on the, can be any. We have 15 questions. Okay. Why do you enjoy reading so much? Yes, in my case, I enjoy reading because I discover new worlds by reading. And my parents had lots of books at home, and there was an encyclopedia. And in that encyclopedia, I saw the pictures of pyramids, for example, or places far away. And then I started traveling to visit those places I saw in the books. So that for me, it was great. Yes, and Phoebe says she likes reading because it changes ideas and the mind. Yes, you discover new knowledge. Yes, Phoebe, a question for Vanessa? Yes, of course, it helps you, it teaches you, it helps you think in a new way, discover new things. Yes. Phoebe, write down your question for Vanessa.
Yeah, thinking,
Ever.
Vanessa, have you ever read the ending of a book before you got to it? It's
Yes.
11.
11, yes. Yes,
No,
have you ever read the ending of the book? Yeah.
I haven't. It's the worst thing I can do ever. No, I
Yeah.
haven't.
No, yes, of course. You're cheating. You're cheating.
It's
Yes.
like me make an spoiler for.
Yes, it's a spoiler, exactly. Okay, Vanessa, a question for Paola.
Teacher, can you make it bigger, please? I am like blind. I can see too much. ¿Le
You
puede
can
dar zoom, por favor?
zoom, yes.
Ay, un
Bigger.
poco.
Yeah.
Ay, gracias. Again?
Any question to Paola?
Okay. Pao, do you judge a book by its cover?
Yes, 13. The cover, la tapa del libro. Do you judge the book by its cover? Si lo juzgas por la tapa. Hay gente que le gusta la tapa y la compra un libro.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
It is the cover book is interesting or not.
Yes, or colorful, or has good photos. Yes, exactly. And you choose the cover. Yeah, exactly. Paola, a question for Romina.
But have you ever read the ending of a book before you go to it?
Romina, have you ever read the ending of the book?
No, but one time I do.
Once I did. Yes, it's like
It's
watching
not
the
funny.
ending. Yeah, the ending of the series. Okay, Romina, ask Catalina.
Okay, Catalina. Mm, how many books do you read in the year? Do you usually set a target?
A target.
Hello, Romy. I read one one just book. No. I
book?
read one book in this year.
In a year. Yes, one book in a year is okay. Yes, it can teach you a lot. Yes, one book in a year. Okay, so now.
In Spanish, not in English.
In Spanish, yes.
Mhm.
Yes, Vanessa used to read 12 books. 12. Oh, wonderful, Vanessa. In high school,
Yeah,
yeah. Yes,
I
adolescent.
one for month.
media.
Oh, great. So that's the best thing you can do. Yes, adolescents like reading. So that's the time to catch adolescents, yes, to read. You have it. Yes, Romina asked, do you have the time? Yes, you have more time in adolescence for sure. Yes, in adulthood, it's not so easy. So, okay, now, what do you remember? Physical book. Phoebe read physical 1 or 2, but online around 2 or 3 a day. Oh, digital books. So if it is easier for you to read online, you need to take advantage. Yes.
Teacher,
Yes,
what
Catalina?
is the meaning of the second answer in the number 3? Do you usually set a target?
Target,
¿Qué es?
target is an objective. Un,
Pero
un
¿cómo? No entiendo esa pregunta.
a target of number of books. Un objetivo. Voy a leer 3 libros. Okay.
No o sea, a veces los tengo, pero nunca los cumplo.
Yes, so and Phoebe says she's addicted to reading online. Oh, is that the question? Oh, yes, that's the best addiction you can have. Yes, addiction to reading books, fiction. And do you prefer fact or fiction in general? Fact or fiction? ¿A alguien le gusta leer hechos reales o ficción? That's a good question. Who prefers fiction? Raise your hand.
Who?
Fiction. Vanessa, fiction. Yes. So remember your classmates' answers. Javiera, fiction. Catalina, both. Historical books, for example. Phoebe, both. But fiction is something different. Yes, of course. The fiction. Yes. Okay. Yes, fiction has, but I read more facts lately. Okay. So you see, sometimes life takes you one way or the other. Both. Yes. Historical novels, for example, I love them. Yes. Okay. All right. So now, yeah, Vanessa?
In fact, because I'm kind of como perseguida, entonces como si leo algo que tiene como base en hechos reales o una película en hechos reales, estoy pensando eso y no, mal.
No, los hechos reales no. Ficción, veo anime. Catalina watches anime for fiction. Love stories, Romina.
I
Yes.
think that it's better the books from a historical
Yeah.
date.
For historical.
No sé, por ejemplo, el libro que leí, o sea, no sé cómo decirlo en inglés, pero el libro que leí era una historia de amor, pero con el relacionado en, ¿cómo se llama? en el tiempo de los nazis. Entonces igual... pero es que eso es una ficción. Una vez leí un texto de ficción, pero no sé, como que...
Some of them are fiction, yes, fictitious stories in the real historical time. For example, the Titanic. Yes, the story, the love story is fictitious, but the moment, the historical moment is real. You see?
Oh.
So that kind of, yes, that's also a genre. Yeah. This is, there is a name for that. Es un género también, sí. Es historical, historical fiction, or something like that. So it's historical facts, but with some recreation and some fictitious stories. And then you have science fiction, which implies both scientific facts and fiction. Yes. Okay, so you have different genres. Yes, wonderful. Everything is interesting as far as they tell a story and you can be part of that story. Okay, so now remember what your classmates said. Yes, you need to report on your classmates. From last semester. So from last year, we remember that reading had there were different ways to approach reading, yes. And one of them was to skim. What is to skim? Not to scan, but skim. Do you remember what was to skim? To read quickly something, looking for particular details, to look quickly through a book, to read more about the topic. What is to skim? That was one of the strategies we saw. When you're looking for, it's one of those three.
B.
B, yes, to read quickly, looking for particular details. So that's a way of reading. When I have to find important information that's very specific, you go and you skim over a text and you find important details or particular details. So that's a way of reading that you might bear in mind. Yes, tienen que tenerlo en cuenta. Skim. Scan is different. You pay more attention to all of the text. And flick, what is to flick? You do this with magazines, for example. Flick.
E?
E, yes, to look quickly through a book without reading. Yes, you just pass the pages. It's not an important reading. Yes. So skim and flick. But if you read into, this is more important and it has another meaning. It's not related to reading. Read into. You read into this is to go beyond reading about the meaning of something.
Teacher, but what is STH?
Something.
Something. Read into something.
Yes, it's not, it's the, to think. So that is the one related not to reading, yes, but to thinking. Yes, you say something and the psychologist reads into your meaning, what you say, yes? So read into is a phrasal verb that does not relate necessarily to reading, but to analyzing, yes, to think about the meaning of something. Okay, so you know those, and then you have read over and read up. So you have to tell me what is to read over and to read up. So two that have to do with reading.
Read over is A.
To read more about the topic. Yes, and read up. To gain more knowledge. Yes, to read over. And to read up on something is to read something carefully, looking for mistakes. Yes. Yes, looking for mistakes. Let us check those meanings. Yes. So there are different ways of reading. The important thing is that you use the different kinds of reading according to your task, your objectives. And remember that was also a strategy. Yes. And remember that. How are you going to read? Read over is to look for mistakes. Yes, read over is to read for mistakes. And read over, read for mistakes, and read up is to read to get more knowledge. So you get different kinds of reading according to your objectives. And remember, you're not going to read in the same way in the exam, yes, or for a test, or to correct your mistakes in writing, yes. So all of these have to do with a specific purpose. Okay, read, so scheme is to look for particular details. Read over is to look for mistake. When I read your writings, I have to pay attention to mistakes. Read up is to gain knowledge when you study. Read into is to think something, to understand something. And flick is when you don't pay attention to your reading. You don't even read much. So be careful that for your test, in the specific readings you have, you're looking for specific information mainly. Yes. And for example, fill in the blanks. Yes, fill in the blanks with missing words, for example. So that's a specific exercise that we will be practicing. Wait a minute. And we will have. So, going back, the task 8. So the task 8 has so we did also has reading, listening. Yes. So we did a listening in task 8, and we took some information from a girl called Hyun-Se Lee. She told us her story. And the first writing is a product after this listening. And that is a reflexive paragraph containing 6 complete sentences about your experiences living in a democratic country. We have it here, yes. In comparison to Hyun-Se Lee's life living in a dictatorship. So remember, for the people who were not here, who would like to tell the story short, in brief, the story of Hyun-Se Lee? What do you remember of her life? Who was she? Where did she live?
Her life was really difficult because that she, what she see in this country was for us shocked because in this country execute people.
Yes, there are executions. Yes, and what is the punishment they receive in this country? Here, the punishment.
Political prison.
They go to a camp, a political prison camp. Yeah. And is there a possibility to survive this country, this camp, this political camp? Did they survive? ¿Podían sobrevivir este campo?
I think no.
No, they can't. So therefore, this is a very, very strict country. And therefore, Hyun-Se, what did she do? What was it?
To defect. She defected.
She escaped. Yes, she escaped from North Korea. Yes, and your task was a paragraph with sentences comparing the life in a democratic country like Chile when you were 17 and sincerely life in her country, North Korea, a dictatorship. So what I did was to give you some instructions. How are you going to write these sentences? So in order to join them together, we need discourse markers. Yes, to start new sentences and explain the kind of message that we're going to give. Yes, for example, on the contrary, on the one hand, on the other hand, for example, all of these discourse markers show a meaning that I want to give my discourse. Also, coordinating conjunctions that we already know join sentences together. So sentences are not isolated, yeah? One after the other, but they are joined together in a meaningful way. So this is a way in which we can organize the discourse for you to practice the use of these discourse markers and conjunctions that help you in your reading, in your writing, sorry, and also in reading to give meaning. Yes. Okay, so this was the first paragraph you needed to write. You wrote one in collaboration. Are you ready to do another one in collaboration as well?
The group of tasks?
Yes, in a group, yes, but different people. Yes, different people will show your writings. Yes, so everybody is clear on what they are doing. So we have one example to show you. So Catalina has an example they wrote in collaboration. ¿Sí? Ahí está el ejemplo un ejemplo de en colaboración para que todos sepan qué tipo de escritura estamos haciendo. Can you show yours, Catalina, please?
Teacher, but I work with Giselle in the text.
With Giselle. Okay, yes.
We didn't finish.
Okay, this is an example. Now you're going to see.
This.
Yes. Yes. First.
And your observation was related with the times,
tenses, the tenses, el verb tenses.
Yes.
El tiempo de los verbos, yes. But for example, we can see, for those who didn't come on Friday, that the girls use the discourse markers, yes. First, yes, then they can say, for example, next or afterwards, also, yes. In addition, so all of these discourse markers organize the meaning of these sentences, everything she's saying. Moreover, and they have joined sentences with conjunctions, and, yes, and joined two sentences, yes, and also we have a because that we are going to see today, which is a subordinating conjunction, yes, introduces a subordinating.
We have but
sentence.
And however.
We also have however, which is also a discourse marker, and but is a coordinating conjunction. Okay, so that in the sense of the technical characteristics of the paragraph. Y esta es la parte técnica. Cómo voy a unir las ideas, las oraciones, cómo doy sentido con los marcadores del discurso. Pero luego está lo que yo escribo verdaderamente, que tiene que tener un sentido y tengo que respetar los tiempos de verbo. Entonces, ahí leemos. Can you read, Catalina?
First, our life at 17 years old is easier than Lee's life at 17 in North Korea, because we could express our thinking, opinion, and ideas without having afraid. Conversely, the girl never could say that they want or wish. Also, we could walk stilly.
Stilly? What do you want to say?
Como tranquilamente.
Quietly.
Nosotros podemos caminar tranquilamente por la calle.
Quietly.
Quietly.
Or...
¿Cómo se escribe? Quiet. ¿Así? Quietly the street without the thinking of police can catch us. But in the least case, they could be in calm. In addition, the practice of people execution is normal to the eyes. However, if we see it, the scene will shock us.
Yes, exactly. So I gave feedback to check the time, the tenses, if it is or was, for example. Yes.
Y nos faltan dos más, ¿cierto? Porque son 6.
6 sentences. Yes, exactly. So, does anyone else want to show an example for feedback? Todos tienen que tener, lo digo en español, todos tienen que tener este párrafo en su tarea para que yo dé feedback. ¿Ok? Esto es un ejemplo. Pueden intercambiar ideas con los demás, pero cada uno tiene que tener su writing. ¿Alguien más quiere mostrar? Does anyone else want to show the writing for feedback? Is that okay with you?
I did last class.
Okay, Vanessa, you have another example? Vanessa?
No, I have the same. I didn't change anything.
Okay. So now in groups, everyone, you can change ideas, exchange ideas, ¿sí? Intercambiar ideas, pero cada uno tiene que tener su párrafo. So how long do you think it's going to take you? 15 minutes? Okay, whenever you're ready. Yes, you're welcome to share your feedback.
Teacher, how can you say vida tranquila?
A quiet life. Quiet. A quiet life. You could have a quiet life. Okay, you can share, Romina. Okay.
My life at 17 is a quiet and more normal. There's some things that don't happen to me. I didn't live in a fear that something will happen to me. I had also fear I have freedom of expression compared to here in North Korea. In Chile, there is the problem for many years is that being a very woman is not easy. And at least the year later, in my case, I did not live how much and I did not watch the news. That is why I did know many things. But now I know and also know that things that happen, for example, in Korea or not in Korea, are not easy.
Okay, yes. So you're comparing, yes, your life, what you could do, and what she could do in Korea or what she couldn't do. Yes, okay. So I will give you personalized feedback, yes, in your task when you upload it to Educar. Okay, anyone else would like to share? This is to, just to give you feedback. And when you say she, Romina, can you write her name so we know who are we talking about? Yes? Romina?
Yes.
Okay. Good. So we know who are we talking about. Yes, next person. You're invited to share or read.
And me, teacher.
Vanessa, is that you?
Paola.
Paola. Okay. Wonderful. If you want to share, if you want. Okay. Ah, wonderful. Yeah. Do you want to read? Do you want to read, Paola? My life at 17 was different from Hyunseoli's life. For example, I can express myself in any way I want, and she, on the contrary, had to say a word before referring to the authorities. Yes, exactly. So they need to name the title of authorities. But this is what I was saying, Paola. Here you're using the past was, and here you're using the present can. So if you're using the past, then you keep in the past. I could. So the past of can. Here, the first line, in the first line. I could, yeah. The first line, I can, is I could. Okay.
¿Cómo, teacher?
En la primera línea necesitas poner un could. I could.
Acá.
Yeah, yes. My life, entonces I was and I could. Yeah. Second, very good. The first sentence. I didn't live in fear when I was 17, but Hyunseoli did because they could ejecutar. Them no es eject, but execute. ¿Sí? Execution es el sustantivo, execute is the verb. They could execute them because of what they said. Hyunseoli was afraid that his family could be executed, and I was not, because in Chile, execution is not legal. Excellent. She, at the age of 17, left his country without authorization. On the contrary, I have never left my country illegally. Yes, exactly. So she was a defector. She was like una desertora. And if they are found, they are sent to prison. ¿Sí? Muchos países denuncian a estas personas que escapan y vuelven, los mandan de nuevo y los ponen en prisión, en el prison camp. On the other hand, she believed that it was normal to praise their leaders as if they were gods. And though it was like that all over the world, on the contrary, in Chile, we do not, and we are not obliged to praise our leaders. Yes. I don't feel like living in a prison in my country. Yes, exactly. Hyunseoli does. She says she is a virtual prison living inside the country. It is. Yes. She says that it is a virtual prison living inside the country. Yes, very good, Paola. Wonderful. And you use the discourse markers correctly on the other hand. Yes, perfect, wonderful. Anyone else would like to share or feedback? So now you got the idea of the passages. Yes, Catalina? Yes, Catalina?
Yeah, I want to share.
Okay, okay. So,
I changed this place, this, and I edité algunas partes de esta para que no sea igual a la que tiene la hice.
All right.
¿La lee usted o la leo yo?
You, please read your own.
Okay. Lee's country was nurtured with violence, and it provoked the flight of people. The life in this place was restricted to each part of society. Adults, children, and teenagers. I highlight this word. First, if I develop a comparison, my life at 17 years old was easier than Lee's life at 17 in North Korea. Because I could express my thinking, my thinking, opinion, and ideas in any moment without having afraid. Conversely, the girl never could say that they want because she could be tortured.
Yes, there, Catalina, when you start with green, that's a new sentence.
Yes.
No, it's a new sentence. Yes, it's for, yes. And afraid goes with the verb be, not the verb have. Yeah? Without being afraid. Being is B-E-I-N-G. Being.
Being afraid. Okay.
Yes, it's the present.
¿Y aquí está bien? She could be tortured. Okay. Also, I walked quietly to the street without the thinking of police could catch me. But in the case of Lee, she and her society could be in calm, and her lifespan depended on the government. In addition, the practice of people execution was normal to Lee's eyes. However, if I saw it, the scene would have been shocked me.
Shocking would have been shocking for me. Shocking.
Shocking for me. And in conclusion, my teenager's life was happier than Lee's teenager's life because I could develop myself into society according to the government rules, but she had to escape to save herself of government rules of North Korea.
Yeah, okay, excellent, wonderful. Yes, Phoebe published her, excellent, Catalina, thank you. Phoebe was our, you participated in the chat. Phoebe, do you want to read or do you want me to read?
I can read.
Okay, okay. Wonderful, Phoebe, we'll listen to you.
The first thing comes to my mind is I'm not afraid when I share my opinions with anybody. Is completely different with Hyunsoo. She couldn't share what she was thinking. She couldn't have her own thoughts, and she was afraid to lose her family and her life because of the punishment of the country. I'm a person who can write about anything in social media and read about anything on the internet.
On the internet, right?
On the internet, but she couldn't.
But she couldn't. Yes, exactly. So she could. Yes, you have freedom of speech, freedom of thought. Yes, and she couldn't have that. Yes, freedom of opinion and participation. Yes, wonderful. Yes, you got the idea very well. You got the idea very well. I'm going to give you feedback. Nevertheless, each person personalized feedback. And I think that if I remind you of all the different sections of your reading, of your writing, it would be easier for you. So that was the idea when I gave you like a recipe to write your pieces. Just to remind you of everything you know, so that you can alter and make your sentences richer, yes, your paragraphs. So this is the next exercise is based on a reading. So this is a reading on the future of democracy at the digital time of disruption. Yes. So this is scheme. Yes, scheming. We are going to look for some details in this reading. I will share with you from my browser. And we can scheme, yes, practice this type of reading. So it's just reading. There are certain titles and there are certain paragraphs, yes, and they are expressions of different experts, yes, according to democracy in a time of digital disruption. It's about technology, but how much technology can be a help or an obstacle, yes, a disruption. So if you read only the titles, you will have an idea. So that is scheming, yes. If we develop guardrails, the core elements of democracy will be strengthened. Okay, so this talks about strengthening democracy. Ongoing strategic destruction and organized chaos lead to bitter partisan divisions. So this is about parties, political parties, and division among parties. So I can just scheme and see which is of my interest. What am I interested in? Here it talks about artificial intelligence. You know about that. Our use of technology disconnects us from local realities. Okay, that can be interesting. Yes. Okay, so if I am just connected to technology, I don't think of my country, my reality. Oh, this can be interesting. And you need to read, choose one. You have many. Choose one to know what it is about. Yes, and how can you write something similar to the future of democracy in your country? So it talks about some other reality, yes? It talks about propaganda. We said the propaganda is used in politics. But it can also be maybe applied to your country. You can get an idea, yes, an inspiration. It doesn't have to be the same. There will be lots of noise from politicians, not many solutions. Okay, we see that, yes, the politicians have lots of ideas, but probably they don't have solutions. Innovation in civic technologies can possibly enhance social cohesion, equity, and justice. Yes, it's a possibility. It's a little bit long, but probably talks that technology in the hands of civic, we said in the hands of civilians, of people, yes, the citizen can possibly enhance cohesion, yes, lograr que la sociedad sea más cohesionada, más equitativa, yes, y más, que esté más junta. Piense de una mejor manera. Okay, can be that the one that so you need to choose one. Yes, and as we said, it takes time to read, understand the meaning, and then think, how can you express something similar from your country? Yeah, so that relates to your country in some way. Okay, so different groups. What do you think? Do you like this about society being more equitable and just and cohesive?
Can you repeat, teacher, the question?
Which one would you like to read? So we do an example.
Up.
Mm-hmm.
Amy Web or very el primero o el segundo.
Web. Amy Web. So this is elements of the democracy. What does it mean? The core elements. So founder of Future Today Institute wrote, there are too many variables in play to predict just one plausible or possible trajectory for the future of our democratic institutions. If we enter a decade of synthetic media without restrictions, increased algorithmic determinism and financial incentives that favor competition over collaboration, the core strengths of our democracies will have eroded. Yes, this means that in order to, so synthetic media means if just media can produce any kind of messages and there are no restrictions and everything is dominated by algorithm, yes, as for example, whenever you participate, you know, in social media, there is, you are feeding, están alimentando a great algorithmic product that because of algorithm, they are somehow manipulating everything you publish and you like and you see on the internet. Therefore, if you just believe on that, and there is a lot of commerce, yes, exchanges going on in the internet, data are sold. For example, Facebook used to sell data, private data from their participants, that will favor competition and not collaboration. Yes, so what does Google want to do? Just sell its products, yes? And that does not mean you're working in collaboration, but just to compete against other companies, and therefore the strengths of democracy, the elements of democracy can be eroded, can be, how can we say, weakened, debilitados. Citizens will be more vulnerable to misleading information, and that is something that is created on the internet. Yes, fake news, for example, false information about everything that's going on in the country, and will be served the kinds of contents that capture their attention. However, if we develop guardrails, these are like protections, yes, like limits. Los guardrails también se usan en español para mencionar los bordes de los puentes, por ejemplo, de los caminos, para evitar accidentes. Yes? If we develop guardrails, norms, and standards now that encourage transparency, authenticity, and collaboration, our democratic institutions will be significantly strengthened. I see movement along both trajectories. So it has to do with news, with the use of internet, yes, with no limits, and that can be how detrimental to the life of a society and the democratic life of the society. Yes, fake politics news are provoking more divisions. Exactly. So fake news create more divisions, how can we say, aggressions among people. So one political party in my country creates fake news about the other political party. So they only instill hatred, yes, odio, and they erode, they weaken the good benefits of democracy, yes, because we are not going to vote. They don't want people to vote according to new ideas of improvement, but just on the basis of hatred, fake news, misleading information. Exactly. So the same happens in every country. Okay, so this is a way to manipulate society, yes, to vote one way or other. So this is, and it talks about different, so for example, the algorithmic, the financial incentives, data that are bought and sold of people participating in social media, that's also to pay attention to. So they are in a way manipulating your lives. Yes. Okay, so for example, that is only to have an idea, yes, a prompt, ¿sí? Como un disparador. And to use that in order to, that's one example, in order to write about the future of democracy in your view, in your country. Yes, you summarize in your own words. We already summarized. Yeah, we gave an example. And then you develop your paragraph according to your view. But this is something probably was not clearly explained. This is one written piece containing all of this. It's only one paragraph. But you have 6 sentences. Yes, in total. And in those sentences, I need to have 3 in the passive voice. For example, democracy is defended by modern governments. Yes, people are influenced by social media, whatever. Yes, using the passive voice. Also, and other 3 sentences using the future. Remember, will for predictions, for future facts. In my country, there will be more elections, more free elections in the future. Technology will improve democratic participation. I told you my dream. Yes, I can be wherever in the world and send my vote via WhatsApp, for example. That will be wonderful. That will be a great improvement in participation. And also discourse markers. At the same time that I am writing these sentences, I use discourse markers. In addition, for example, moreover, consequently, therefore, yes. I can use the coordinating conjunctions. Yes, and, but, or, for, yes. All of these markers and discourse markers and coordinating conjunctions. So it's only one paragraph with all those characteristics. Because if I don't remind you, you not choose to write like that. And we have to think of all of these elements we know to put them together in the writing. Yes? Do you follow? Do you have any doubts about this writing? So we have 10 minutes to write at the least one active sentence, passive sentence, one future, or 3 discourse markers to see you understand and you can do it. You will see you can do it. It's not difficult, not impossible. Okay, Catalina on Giselle left.
Teacher, no está Giselle, así que me quedo solita.
Yes, you're alone. Okay, you're not alone. You can discuss.
Teacher, es que igual lo hice anoche.
We are going to write in, so this is group writing, yes? Teachers in elementary school do a lot of group writing, yes? And students participate to write together a piece, as an example. Democracy, so we have subject, verb, will be controlled, okay? Will be controlled by technology, yes, by technology in the future. Perfect. So this is well organized. Yes, I have subject, verb. This is passive voice. So we have the by phrase. ¿Por quién va a ser controlada? And time, all the complements. Yes, time, manner, place at the end. Perfect. Now, how do we continue? Another sentence. Maybe, Catalina says, people are deceived by fake news. Okay, we have to introduce the topic of fake news. How are we going to do that? Vanessa, one idea? For example, remember, we always have our, for example, it's always useful, sorry. No. It changes there. Okay, so this one by Catalina will keep there, yes, but we need something else. What happens with technology and fake news? We need that idea before saying that people are deceived by fake news or by technology. Technology, my idea. I help you with this. Technology is not always used positively. No es siempre usada en forma positivamente. ¿Ya? Sino ¿qué puede causar también la tecnología? Que yo hago un uso, no siempre hago un uso bueno, positivo. Okay, so how do I, for example, how can you continue, Vanessa? Which idea do you have? For example, how can I use technology for something that is not positive? And here we have to use this sentence as well, yes? So it is related to this. For example.
How can you say no confiable?
Trust.
Trust, confiable es...
no confiable.
No confiable.
Untrustworthy.
Untrustworthy. Trustworthy. Yes. Trustworthy is confiable. Untrustworthy. Yes, exactly. Just trying to look for the first of all, we look for the adjective and then we look, yes. Entonces, here we have trustworthy, and the opposite, untrustworthy. Yes, so there you have both. This is the prefix for the negative. Okay, for example. What can you create that is untrustworthy? What is untrustworthy? No es confiable. For example?
Technology is not is untrustworthy.
Yes, but not technology. Technology is trustworthy. It depends on who uses technology, on how.
Wikipedia is not.
Yes, so, but who uses technology? Not technology per se, people, I think, yeah?
Okay.
People can create, what do you create that is untrustworthy? For example, information, develop information, yes, for example, Wikipedia or other websites that are not reliable. Yes, people can develop untrustworthy, what? Untrustworthy, trustworthy information or news. Or news, yes. But it's not technology per se, it is how I use untrustworthy. How I use technology, how the users proceed with technology. It's not technology itself, yes? People consequently, or as a consequence, yes? People are deceived, can be deceived, and we can use the passive by fake news. Excellent. Look, 3 sentences quickly. Yes, in internet, people take the role of professionals. Okay, they can take any role. Yes, they can fake. Yeah, they can also take fake roles. Excellent, that is also true. Yes. So democracy will be controlled by technology in the future. Yeah, this is a very good sentence to start. Technology is not always used positively. However, yes. However, so technology is neither good nor bad, yes, but it's a reality. But however, yes, technology is not always used positively. For example, people can develop untrustworthy information or news. Consequently, people can be deceived by fake news. And coordinated construction, what is the consequence of people being deceived by fake news? What can happen in the future if people do not believe anymore in the news? They do not believe in politics, in what politicians say. What is the consequence? What can happen with democracy?
So maybe the participation of society will disappear?
Yes, will diminish. Yes, excellent. People will not be willing to participate, to go to elections, to vote. So it's against democracy, really. It's against democracy, yes. So consequently, people can be deceived by fake news and they can stop voting in the future. Okay. And here is the comma. Okay. So there you can see how you need ideas. You need ideas, but you can check in the internet, yes, or check in that reading. You can have ideas. That's why the reading is social disorder. Okay, Romina, that's a great idea. There will be social disorder. Yes, if we don't vote anymore, if democracy fails, then we won't have organization in the future. Yes, exactly. So we are being very pessimistic. But anyway, for you to see, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. That's why I gave you those readings just for you to have ideas. Yes, to read on different topics on how different experts talk about democracy and technology. Yes, people can be deceived by fake news and they can stop voting. Okay, as a consequence, we already have a consequence. In conclusion, what can happen, Romina? In conclusion, there will be social social disorder, yes, in social disorder in our country. Okay, just, okay. So as you see, it's not very demanding, yes. I have to have some, we need some words, anyway, we can look up in the dictionary, yes. Writing needs, yes, relaxation, and some time to think and write. And do not be afraid of writing, yes. It's just another important skill that we need to develop. Okay, so now we will say, before we say goodbye, we have some more practice to do on Wednesday, so I wait for you. Okay, and you will have this PPT with the example we did. Yes, Paola, Vanessa, Romina, Giselle, can you hear me?
Okay, yes.
Yeah. Yes. So you will have this example so you can have more ideas to develop your writing. Yeah. This is the last paragraph. The last paragraph, and you will upload to week 11, the task on week 11 for feedback. Yes, and I will give you feedback. Remember, your writing will always have feedback for improvement. Always, always, always. Okay, so time for reflection. One thing we learned today and one question we have about the future.
New vocabulary and repasar la voz pasiva.
Yes, and revision of passive voice, revision of passive voice.
And practice.
Passive voice and writing practice. Remember, it's not nothing else for writing, yes, and practicing. Yes, there is no way out. Yes, there is only one way, that is practicing. Okay, and we will have more practice for Wednesday, so I wait for you on Wednesday. Yes, so check the video. Yes, so check the video today and the PPT for information to finish task 8. Yes. And upload it, check the videos and information on the PPT to finish task 8. And that's task 8, yes, that is the end of it. Task 8 and upload it to the task created on Educandos on week 11. Okay. Do you have any questions that we can answer now? And if not, thank you for attending. Have a great day. And I wait for you on Wednesday, midday.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay, Vanessa, you're welcome. Vanessa, question?
Yes, it's not a question, but I'm gonna say that. Can I say in Spanish? Profe, el miércoles probablemente no pueda entrar a clase porque tengo